All right, hello and welcome. So today is going to be the day 5 for our Office 365 administration class. In our previous lesson, we learned about guest users. We saw how can we create a new guest account and also how can we invite a guest account. So that was one of the important things to do whenever you had external users outside your company and you wanted to basically do what? You wanted to make sure that you are able to give them access, but limited access because they are what? They are called guest accounts. So, what are we gonna do today is we are gonna go ahead and start with teams and groups, all right? So, we have users, right? We have contacts, we have guest users, and then we have groups. Who can tell me what is group? Who can tell me what is group? What do you think about groups? So, in Office 365, groups are basically a way that allows you to choose or pick a set of people and basically add them as a member of that group so that you can collaborate, you can communicate easily through that group. All right. So, for example, if I want to share a document and I want to share it with 100 users, all right, I want to share it with 100 users. If I have a group and all those 100 users are member of that group, now I don't have to type 100 emails to share that file. I can simply do what? I can simply write the group name and then share it. So it will basically share it with multiple users at the same time. So that is one thing that you can do with groups. Another thing that you can do in group is basically you can use it for role management. For example, you want to assign or give security permissions to multiple users at the same time. What you can do is you can basically use groups for that too. So you can assign multiple permissions. So if someone asks you, what is Office 365 group? You can say Office 365 group in Microsoft 365 is basically, um, it allows you to pick a set of people, make them member of it, and then you can collaborate, you can communicate easily by sharing resources with other people, and those resources are, for example, sharing files. Another thing that you can do is you can use like shared Outlook inbox, shared calendar, and you can access files from different document libraries. All right. So another great thing is like you don't have to also worry about assigning permissions manually because once you add people as a member of a group, it will automatically assign permissions. So what you're doing in here is you are avoiding removing manual work and you are giving permissions to multiple users at the same time without going into one place again and again and again. Just add the user member of that group, that's it, and it will assign the permission, right? You don't have to do things repeatedly. So that is group. That is group in Office 365. Awesome. So whenever you go to Admin Center, you will see that in here we have active teams and groups. So Teams is an application, okay? Teams is an application that we use today, and it is used for collaboration, communication, like chatting. It's like a messenger in your organization, like official one. Like Facebook Messenger is not official for businesses, right? Facebook is for friends, personal, but Microsoft Teams is for business, where you can chat with your colleagues and you can share files, you can do a lot of things there. Teams is very robust, and in future, that is something that we are going to learn. We're going to learn more about Teams, what it can do, and how can you use it on a daily basis to support the end users. So that is completely different topic. All right. So once you click on active teams and groups, in here you can see that there is one called Microsoft 365, one called Distribution List, one called Mail-Enabled Security Group, and also one called Security, right? So in here, if you see, we have multiple kind of groups. So I am going to ask you guys in your next lesson. This is your homework, okay? Your homework is go and figure out and find, do some research about the differences between Microsoft 365 group, distribution group, mail enabled security group, and security group. So this is your homework. This is your homework. You're gonna let me know what is the difference between them. All right. If you're watching through the YouTube channel, what you can do is you can put it in your comment section. All right. So the very first one that we have in here is called Microsoft 365. And then in here, one is called All Company. All Company group is used in many organizations. They use it a lot. Why? To send announcement, right? For example, your company have 500 employees, all right? Your company have 500 employees. This group is needed. This group is needed because sometimes you want to send news, you want to send announcement, you want to send some updates to your employees. So do you think it's a good idea to type 500 emails at the same time? No, it is not. It is a manual process and it is not a good practice. So what companies do is they create a group and they call it All Company. All Company. So in here, what you can do is you can basically add members to it. So if I click here, in here you can see that I have All Company, and in the members you can see that I can add more members. I can add all my employees. So if I say view and manage here, and then if I want to add, so what I want to do is I want to add Kawa Zia as member of all employees because they were not part of it, right? So now anytime you send an email to allcompany at ktrains88.onmicrosoft.com, what will happen? Saitkawa and Zia will also get it. Why Zia is not here? Let me add him again. Okay, add. So once he is added, now you can see everyone is in here. All of them are now in here. So now if we basically send an email to this address, everyone will get an email. If you go back to general, in here, what you can do is you can also change the name. So you don't like All Company, what you can say is KT Staffs. So KT Staffs, Knowledge Train Staffs. So all Knowledge Train Staffs will be in here, and the name is now changed, right? So you can always do what? You can always make changes here. So we added members, right? So all these people are now members. We also have owner. What do you think? What is the difference between owner and member of a group? So if someone asks you, What is the difference between owner and member? What do you think about that? All right, so the owner is basically who can manage and change members, add members, remove members of a group, right? He is the owner. But the it's going to be the owner of that specific group only. If you have multiple groups with multiple owners, every owner will have access to their group, okay? Not to all groups. And members are basically members. They're just member of that group. They cannot make any changes to a group. Like they cannot add a user. Like if Zia comes to uh, Kawa and say, "Hey Kawa, can you add Inam to this group?" Now, Kawa will say, I cannot because I am the member. I am not the owner. All right. So in Facebook, simple idea, similar idea, uh, when you create a new group, you add people to that group and you have admin to that group, right? If you're not admin, you cannot add people to that group in Facebook, right? So same thing in here. If you're not member, you cannot do anything. If I click on settings in here, you can see we have multiple options. Do you want this group to be public or private? Right now it's public. What does it mean? It means that people will be able to send email from outside, right? So if I go to my Gmail account and type allcompany at ktrains88.onmicrosoft.com, like Zia and Kawa will get an email. But if I make it private, it's no longer public, it's private, right? It's going to be private group. So it's now up to you. Which one do you want? If you don't want to make it public because of security, you say it's not good to make it public because of security, you can make it private. But you can always do what? You can always make it public or private. It's all up to you. All right. Another option that we have here is allow external senders to email this group. If I click this, now you can send an email from outside. Send copies of group conversation and events to group members. So any conversation that happens on this group, it will send copies of that to all group members, like Zia, Kawa will send it. Hide from my organization global address list. So if you want to hide it, so whenever people go into their Outlook, into their address book, they will not be able to find it. It's not going to show it to them. You can do that too. And then you can click on save. So if I click on save, now, okay, so can't save. Either you assigned product license doesn't include. Okay, seems like we have some licensing issue. That's why it's not applying. Let me see. Okay, there you go. So you see, it didn't work because Kawa and Zia, they did not have license. Let's assign them licenses. And then we can do what? We can try again. So save changes. That was for one of them. And let's do the same for Zia. And add license. Okay, save. I will go back to active teams and groups. This time I will go again. Okay, so members. Okay, we still have Kawa and Zia as member. Click on settings, allow external users and copies. Click on save. Can't save, send copies, group conversation, group members, inbox, or let people outside the organization. Okay, it doesn't include this or that. Okay, so seems like there you go. Okay, let's try again. Let's see. Okay, so we can do what? We can only add one at a time. So there you go. So now it is assigned, right? So let's test it. I am going to send this via chat to all you guys. Can you please send an email to this? Um, can you just send a test email from Hotmail, Gmail, any account you want? And what are we gonna do is we are gonna test it. So we are going to do what? We are going to test it. And I was the member of that group, right? So we will test it with my account here. So let me know when you are done sending the email. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my Outlook app and I'm going to see if I got any email. Okay, we have 10 minutes. That's fine. Okay, I still have not received any email. All right, so we got emails. The first one basically landed into um, junk emails. Another one landed into um, inbox. But you saw the difference, right? You sent that email to a group, but I got it. Why? I got it because I was member of that group. So that is how basically groups works in Office 365. All right, I'm gonna go now into distribution list, and in here we are gonna see how we can create a distribution list. So distribution list is also one kind of what? One kind of a group, but what is the difference? This is your homework, okay? What is the difference? This is your homework. Office 365, it creates email feature. It also adds Microsoft Teams feature, and you can share files and calendar. That is a great thing about Office 365 Group. And that's why it's recommended because you can do multiple things. You can share file, you can use Teams, you can send email, and you can use calendar. So that is a great feature. So if you want all those multiple features at the same time, you can use Microsoft 365 group. But if you only want this, all right, so sorry, our Zoom just got disconnected. So if you only want email feature. If you only want email feature, you can use distribution group for that. So if you don't want file sharing, Teams, calendar, in that case you can use distribution. In distribution, you can basically create a group like add it for HR, and then in there what you can do is you can type HR, and after adding HR you can say next, and then what do you want to name the email address like HR, and then in here you can say allow people from outside to send an email if you want to, but if you don't want, that's totally up to you. All right, so that is one thing that you can do there. Now click on next, and then this is basically telling you information. Click on create group, And now it's going to do what? It's going to create the group. Once the group is created, click refresh here for it to appear. Okay, there you go. Now if you click on that group, what you can do is you can basically go here and click on members, and then click on view all members and click on add, and now you can add your members. So I'm gonna add couple in here and click on add, and that's it. Now if you send an email to hr@ktrains, I will receive that email because I am the member of it. What is your homework? Yes, everyone will receive same email. What is your homework? Your homework is to create two users. You can create any name, right? You can create any name. Then you create a group called accounting. Add those two users, member of the accounting, and then send an email to accounting group and go into each user and check if you have received that email. So that is your homework, okay? That is your homework. You have to do it. If you don't do it, you're not going to learn. Okay. So we created that. Another group that we have here is called MailEnabled Security Group. So if we click on add here, you can see what is MailEnabled Security Group. It is also a group, but it's a distribution list that can also be used to control access to OneDrive and SharePoint. What is OneDrive? OneDrive is a storage where you store files, where you put your files like Dropbox, Google Drive. OneDrive is also a storage. SharePoint, what is SharePoint? SharePoint is also a intranet, a web page that you create inside your organization so that only your employees can access it, right? So that is SharePoint. You also use SharePoint for file sharing. That is the main reason. If you want to give access to OneDrive files, SharePoint files of your company to 100 users, how can you do it? Do you think doing it one by one is a good idea? No, it's not. You can create mail-enabled security group, add people to member of that, and then give them access through there. Anytime you want to remove access for someone, remove him from that group. That's it. Very easy. Remove add to that group, and it will give permission to those users. That is really cool feature to give permissions to files. Okay, in here I will say company files. So I will name it company files. Click on next. I will name it company files. Since I am creating this just for file sharing, giving access to the files, I don't want people to send email from outside. Create group. Close. That's it. Your security group is now created. Mail-enabled security group. What is the difference between mail-enabled and security group? What do you think? What is the difference? Both of them are security group, but one is mail-enabled. One is mail-enabled. You can send an email and you can also assign permissions. What is security group? Security group is only to control access, to give permissions, but no email, okay? You cannot send email to a security group, but you can send an email to mail-enabled security group. That is the difference. So if you don't want to send an email, you only want to use security group to give permission, assign permission, restrict access to different files. In that case, you can use security group. So what will I do is, I'll say OneDrive access. And then I'll click next. See, I don't get the option allow external users to send an email. Why? Because no email feature with security group. With security group, we don't have email feature. Now if I come here, you can see it's there. Your homework again. Two things. What is the difference between Microsoft 365 distribution list, mail enabled, and security group? The second homework is to create two users and test distribution list. Create a group, add users as member, send an email like I did today, and go check on each if you have received email or not. That is your homework. All right. So that's pretty much it for the security groups today, and I think that is enough too. All right. I hope that was helpful for everyone. Any questions you have, you can let me know.